All right, let's get back to some more modern variety today with episode 430 of Fine Music. You know who we're depending on, Charlie Zero. He knows. Go ahead, Charlie.
Okay. Okay, so today on my list would be um Yotaro. Uh I recommend the album Brain Words. That's what it's called, Brain Words. Available on Bandcamp, and their genre is lo-fi instrumental hip hop.
Mhm.
Um I love Brain Words, and it's very relaxing. If you guys are in a very creative spark, this album really will drive you into that certain place. Comfort, creativity, you name it, you got this. Yotaro brings it. Um, he has more albums, but Brain Words is probably one of my favorites of his. So check him out on Bandcamp, um, or YouTube.
Got a good price?
I don't know. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay, I'll report back later.
Yeah. And number two, The Caretaker. Now, this one, I recommend that album, Everywhere at the End of Time. It's genre, it's on Bandcamp, and it's considered dark ambient, experimental, and plunderphonics. Um, so I'm not kidding. This album took me 2 days to finish because it's a 6 hour listen. And
Oh, wow.
it is, but there's a purpose to why the Caretaker did this album, and it's about dementia. The um the spiraling of going down, down. So in the beginning, you're hearing almost 50s record playing. It captures your attention, and then little by little, you start to feel something. You start to cry for uncontrollable reason. You don't know why. I started to cry, and I didn't know why. I'm like, why is this making me cry after the fifth or seventh track? And I kept crying. I kept crying, and I'm like, why is this making me cry? I don't get it. I kept listening, thinking, I'm having a good day, mind you. So as you listen further and further, things start to get interesting, very emotional, very intense. But that little crackling of the 50s and vinyl record keeps playing throughout. There's changes, but you'll feel it. So I recommend that album, Everywhere at the End of Time by The Caretaker. Number three, Negativland. The album, one of my favorites, Helter Stupid. Um, it's on Bandcamp or YouTube, and it's sound collage and plunderphonics. Um, Helter Skelter is one that I always go to when I wanna uh, write any satire myself. Um, yeah, and you'll hear um Charlie Manson's voice in the background, and then you hear Hal Heisner, news reporter, and then you start hearing a lot of things. It's very, very, it's a trip, I'll tell you that much. These guys are something else. I've always been at the uh forefront of experimenting with sound collages and such. Number four, Dibiase. I recommend the album Schematics, and it's on Bandcamp. It's experimental hip hop, instrumental electronic. Um, Dibiase is a very that album Schematics is very you want to have a good Saturday or Sunday morning breakfast, or just read a good book or write or whatever. This album gives you that feeling of, man, it takes you even back to the 90s, where or the 80s, or whatever you found that nostalgic feeling, and that I think Dibiase really brings out with that record. So check it out. And the last one, Merzbow, the album Pulse Demon, also on Bandcamp. It's genres harsh noise, noise ambient. So the first time I listened to this album, Pulse Demon, was it comes off very obnoxious, but there's a point to it. So as you listen further, then there's the variety of other sounds that come in. People have this has been the I guess has a cult following among the harsh noise community. It's some people don't really bother listening to it because it's, you know, it's too much. Obviously I lasted for a good I think 50 60 minutes of it, listening to it, or some, yeah, run that runtime. And I got inspired, and something just cracked with all the neurons in my head. And yeah, so if I mean, this record may not beat for you or anybody else, but if you're into this, cool. If not, it's okay. It's okay. That's what we're here for. And those are my 5 recommendations of musicians of the day.
All right. Well, my noise friend Lob told me a story about Merzbow.
Mm-hmm.
That he
Lob
did a
Instagram?
limited, what?
Lob
A
Instagram?
limited edition album, limited to one copy, which was, and I forget what model car, but some luxury car in which his tape was locked into the music player. So all you could listen to was this particular tape of his, which, as Charlie says, is harsh noise.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Oh.
believe, and you know what? This man has released, I'm not kidding, over 450 or 80 something albums. And I'm just like, whoa, that's a lot for
Yeah.
that's just like, I never heard anything of that. Never.
Wow.
Never heard anything of
Oh,
it.
what I was asking earlier, the Lob you mentioned, is that Lob Instagon?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I know him from Sacramento. He's actually a friend of my guitar teacher, Todd, who taught me in Sacramento.
We know Lob from his LA days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've known him for quite a while by now.
Yeah.
I've had a few guitar teachers. One of them, the one that I had in LA, actually taught at Flea's Music Conservatory from the Chili Peppers.
Okay.
Mark was his name. He taught in Silver Lake. I'm not sure if he still does. Todd was the guy that I learned guitar from in Sacramento.
Okay, that's going to be a hidden bonus in this episode, okay? Because I don't have with those 5 names, I don't have enough space to put in the. Well, Lob is 3 letters. So I'll do what I can do. Okay.